How y'all doing? Welcome. Take this off of speaker so that I don't keep getting speaker and that person that is listening can hear me. All right. So we're on YouTube and TikTok is not letting me go live for some reason. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to try it again. Yeah. No, it's not letting me go live. It says device camera. So, hey, how's everybody going? Hopefully you got this thing. You're here with me apparently, and everything is working the way it's supposed to work. I'm William Dallas, and those of you that know the old Saturday Night Live, and you're not. So, my TikTok is telling me that I'm not able to get on because I don't have internet. And so those of you that are on TikTok, well, that's why, because I'm on somebody else's internet. There we go. There we go. Let's try this again. So we're going to stick with the Joshua equation. For those of you that were actually paying attention or with me last night, you know that the Joshua equation is pretty much what we've been dealing with for the last couple of weeks. And I like the subject matter, so we're gonna probably stick with it. If you're not, there we go, 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 there we go. Okay, so we're gonna stick with the Joshua equation. It comes back. We're working with Joshua 1 and 8, and that was the equation that you're on. So if you're on our live, you can see this. We're going into this new area. There was a Joshua generation years ago. People talked about, oh my God, I'm a part of the Joshua generation. And the Joshua generation represented the generation that would actually go into the promise. So when we look at the Joshua generation as we look at it today, it is those that are going to the promise. So stick with me today. We're going to talk about that and kind of get some of those things done. Okay. So we're going to hopefully get some of this stuff done, and hopefully you get a chance to see some of the stuff that we're dealing with. But anyway, so for those of you that are with us at the mentoring classes last night, thank you very much for all of you that donated to the need of our particular sister or brother, and I appreciate that, and thank you very much for it. So let's go into the actual Joshua. That passage is here, and it is Joshua 1 and 8. Now, I'm not going into the overview. I did that last night. I'm just going to the distinct places on the exact places that we need to go. Where are you now in your process? Where are you now in your process? And I'm going to take that as deep as I possibly can because I don't really want to lose what's actually taking place. Where are you in your process? Now, we're looking at the God of perspective. God is a God of perspective. And so ask yourself this question. Let's actually look at the passage for what it is, okay? Let's take a look at the passage. The passage says this. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but that thou shalt meditate on it day in and day out, that thou mayest observe to do all according to as written therein. Then thou shalt have prosperous, and thou shalt have good success. He's saying now, what you have to realize is the book of the law is not the book of the law, because Moses took notes of what he did, but the law that Moses wrote about was actually the law that Moses discuss back and forth with God. What you need to understand is God has placed you in your own trial, on your own tribulation, your own track. And that track is necessary for where you're going. Many of you have gotten to a place where you're spiritually sorry about that. Many of you have gotten to a place where you are spiritually maturing and God is changing your direction. Why is he changing your direction? Well, he's changing your direction because in the position that you were in before, you were just simply in a position where you were learning who God was. Now you're in a position where you become an ally to the Spirit of God. And so now you can find yourself in a position where what you're dealing with now is teaching you how to be what God has called you to be. Does that make sense? Yeah. Let's move this over here. So he says, this book of the law shall not depart out of your mouth. Meaning that wherever you say, whatever you set as your narrative, that will be the narrative of your life. So you cannot say one direction and speak another direction. A lot of us are very double-minded when it comes to the things of God. A lot of us are very double-minded when it comes to the things of God. And what that means is you say one thing, but you walk in a different direction. You pray one thing, but you walk in a different direction. So where are you right now? Where are you right now? In this process of the Joshua generation, they are set in a place where they are supposed to be exactly what is necessary to reach the promised land. Now, are you going to reach the promised land? Some of you have to realize that you are in the promised land. What are you going to do to get it to stay in that promised land? You're going to learn how to connect to the things that God has done in your life. Your tragedies are not tragedies. They're training so you can triumph. Say it again. Your tragedies are not tragedies. They're trainings so that you can triumph, so that you can make it over. The biggest attack of your life is happening right now. If you are a woman, it's even bigger than that. If you are a man, you are dealing with the product of that. And that attack is separating you from power, process, and spirit. You are being separated from the power of who God is, the process of what God is doing, and the destination that he's called you to be, the promise that he has on your life. Okay? That is what just happened this past year. It happened in the atmosphere. And for those of you that really don't follow atmosphere, I'm just saying something that's kind of like, what do you mean atmosphere? But it happened in the atmosphere. The atmosphere has changed. Not only has the atmosphere changed, you are now in a position where the pressure of your promise is on your life. Now, and I'm saying a lot of stuff that sounds really crazy. So when Joshua is being spoken to in this passage, when this thing speaks to his spirit, he's saying what you talk, what you walk, what's on your mind, what's in your mind, all has to line up in one direction, and that direction is in the spirit. You have to stay in the spirit. You have to create an atmosphere for the spirit. You cannot create an atmosphere that needs the spirit, or an atmosphere that talks about the spirit. You have to stay in the atmosphere that is the spirit. You got me? Now, let's dig into this a little bit more. I dug into it last night, but let's dig into it a little bit more. I'm not going to dig into it too deep. So we're looking at Joshua 1 and 8. Now, if you know this passage, you know that this is the point where he says something about the book of the law. For those of you that I've told you to write things down over and over again, and you're writing them down, let me dig into that a little bit later. He said, this book of the law, meditate on it. Meditate on it. Meditate on it. Why? Meditation changes the nature of your habitat. Meditation changes the nature of your habitat. So that means that when you are saying something to yourself, you're in conflict with the status quo. When you're saying something to yourself, you're in conflict with circumstances and situation. So what you have to learn to do is let yourself be in a position where you are prepared for the next level. Make sense? You are prepared for the next level. For example, this morning I was talking and I said to one of my daughters, I said to her, one of the lessons that my wife taught me, Kendra taught me, she said, pain is not a reason to withdraw. Pain is a reason to press in. Pain is not a reason to withdraw. She was trying to teach me yoga, and I was doing yoga. And as I was doing yoga, I was leaning in this specific position. I was downward dog, downward dog, sideways chicken. I don't know what it was, but it began to hurt. Now, it wasn't hurt. It was a press against the muscle. Okay? It was a press against the muscle, a muscle that had not been used in a long time. Now, when it pressed, I started backing up. She said, no, relax and press into the pain. I got to get y'all to get this. This is deep. When you are dealing with pain, when you are dealing with pressure, most of us will back up from the pressure. And the reason we back up from the pressure is because we have been conditioned over the years toward the path of least resistance. So we back away from the pain. Instead of us saying, okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to relax and realize what signal the pain is sending me. When you're pressing into a new place, the new place in your mind is always going to be a place that's bad. Catch me now. Your new place will always be a bad place. Your mind will always tell you that you're moving in a bad place. It's going to be an uncomfortable place. The new place is always going to be the wrong place. Why? Because when you begin to deal with new places, you are in conflict with old habits. New places are in conflict with old habits. So your new place is going to say, no, we don't want to go there because we don't know. No. So new place is always in conflict with old habits. So what you have to do is make yourself uncomfortable in order to produce something. Now, many of you know the story of how I start to hear from God, how I begin to hear the voice of God. But what you don't know is I press my mental capacity. I press it to the point that I'm strong. I press my mental capacity to the point that I'm in control, that I give my control over to the Spirit. So I do things like decide not to watch TV or be on the internet for an entire week. I do things like every time the phone rings, I don't answer the phone every time the phone rings. Why? I have to get in control. And what is happening to most of us is we are more responsive to the habits of our lives than we are to the process of our lives. Now, you follow me? We are more responsive to the habit of our lives than we are to the process of our life. For example, when you get up in the morning, I said this last night, don't get up picking up your cell phone and spending the first 5 or 10 minutes on your cell phone. That is a habit. Break that habit. You really want to mess it up? Break the habit. I press my habits. I press them. I test the integrity of my habits. I test the integrity of my habits. Now, what do I mean by that? I will take the cell phone and put it in the other room. When I go to bed, I put my cell phone in the other room. Now, every person I know, what if something happened? What's an emergency happen? I have to think about this, and you need to think about it as well. You know there was a time where there were no cell phones. There was a time where emergencies were not immediately touched on. A person would call 911, go through the process they need to go through to help the situation. So cell phones weren't necessary. So I have to think about that because I'll put my cell phone in another room or I'll turn my cell phone off. totally. And when I turn my cell phone off, I have to deal with all the emotions that make me want to keep the cell phone on. Now, it could be anything from cell phones to the fact that you want to go and deal with children to the fact of relationships. Some of you need to say, nope, for the next 6 months or the next 2 months, no men, no women, just me and God. I'm going to travel, I'm going to do stuff, just me and God. No women, nobody there that I'm looking for to be in a relationship with. Just let it go totally. Some of you need to be in a position where you're going to go, I'm not going to hold on to anything. I'm not going to maintain the thing. I'm not going to be mad. I'm letting all the anger go. You have to get back in control. So when he's saying, let the words of the law continually come out of your mouth, that it'll make your way prosperous and it will give you good success, you have to take back control of your body. Your body is not in your control. I know you say it is. I had a young lady tell me, she said, don't nobody tell me what to do with my body. And then she got pregnant. I said, well, he did. He told you what to do with your body. And now you're stuck because you don't believe in abortion and you don't believe in adoption. So now you are forced to handle this relationship, and your body has to do what it takes to do, because you've never gained control of your body. You've never gained control of your body. Now, what does that mean? That means that right now, every yearn and urge, and you are holding those things. I got to have some chocolate. Woo, Jesus, I need some chocolate. Fight it. No, not going to get myself chocolate. It's the same thing as being addicted to alcohol, cigarettes, or whatever the drug is. You have no control over your body. And so what happens, whatever is said to your body, remember, your brain doesn't have feelings. So whatever your body says to your brain, you have given your brain the liberty to say, yeah, I'm going to do that. If you get up in the morning and pray, you get tired, start walking, go outside, put some jeans on, go for a walk. Take back the body. So when God is speaking to Joshua in these first chapters, he's saying the path that I gave to Moses, Moses responded in emotion. He was supposed to speak to the rock. He smite the rock. So he responded in emotion. Now he's saying, Joshua, don't forget the things that happened to Moses to stop Moses from reaching the promised land. Gain back your control. Gain your power. You follow me? Because a lot of us are so stuck in the power of our past that we don't do what we need to do for our future. A lot of us are stuck so much in the power of our past that we don't do what's necessary for the future. You've got to break the cycle. Complete the book. Complete the teaching. Start the new revelation. Break the cycle. Why? Because now your finances are being affected. Now your situation is being affected. Now all these things are happening. Why? Because God has supplied you with what's necessary to get you back and take back what belongs to you. You have to take your body back. Now, how do you take it back? You take back your mind. Right now, the biggest battle that you're going to have, and I'm going to go ahead, I think, on Matthew 11 and 12. We're going to jump over to there, and then we'll get back to Joshua. Matthew 11 and 12. Let's see if we go over there. Is that it? 11 and 12. Yep, Matthew 11 and 12. It says, since the days of John the Baptist, and from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffer violence, and the violent take it by force. He said, from the days of John the Baptist until now, he said, you are not going to win a battle until you take it by force. The enemy, your mind, your body is not going to go into that darkness lightly. It's going to fight. Why is it fighting? Your body is fighting for survival. See, when you read passages in scriptures, we think that those passages in scriptures are telling us of how bad we are as a person, because they say in your flesh there is no good thing. And so what happens is you find yourself in a situation where you are now trying to fight against this terrible flesh. Take back your life, but take it back here first. Take it back here first. Press everything that scares you. Press everything that scares you. How do you do that? You take whatever scares you. Right now, you're afraid that you're going to die. I don't want to die. I want to live. I don't want to die. Take the fact that you could possibly die and say, I'm not going to die. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm not going to die. I'm going to eat healthy. I'm not going to die. I'm going to fast. I'm not going to die. And fasting, I'm going to talk about fasting eventually. Fasting can stop you from going to a whole lot of things because it reboots your system. I'm not going to be broke. So even though the finances are tight right now, I'm not going to be broke. Why? Because everything that you fear, the Spirit has a remedy for it, and you have to understand the remedy. I'm not going to have another bad relationship. I'm going to listen to my husband. I'm going to listen to my wife. I'm going to listen to God. I'm not going to have another bad relationship. I'm going to live the life. You have to start saying that to yourself and stopping yourself from going into directions that are counterintuitive to what you need to do. You cannot keep walking down the road of right and thinking that you're going to get the road of left, get the benefits of left. You have to start fighting that thing. You have to stop your television. Anything that has your attention, take your attention back. That's the highest quality or the highest cost of anything that you give, your time and your attention. Money is not that. Your time and your attention. Take it back. When something presses you, you got to do this, you got to do this. No, I don't have to do it. Control how you address certain things and control how you feel about certain things. Control how these things are settled in your life. Why? Because this is what gives you control of your body. Your body is nothing but a signaling system. It tells you what hurts, tells you how it hurts. It doesn't discern anything unless the discernment comes through the senses that they occupy. You follow me? So it says, since the days of John the Baptist, the kingdom of heaven suffered. Since the days of John the Baptist till now, the kingdom of heaven suffers violence, and the violent take it by force. If we jump over to Paul, Paul said, forgetting those things which are behind, I press, I reach forth, I stretch forth. Are you pressing into the new level? I talk to a lot of preachers, and I talk to a lot of people. Our time has been so separated amongst our ability to be good people and kind people that we have never taken the time to take care of ourselves. Yeah. So when God asks you to do something or shows you something, in your mind, you believe that that thing is your reality, when it actually is your potential. Yeah. It's actually your potential. It is not set to make you fall. It's set to show you how powerful you are. So let me say this. For every one of you that has a pertinent situation, whether it's an illness, a financial situation, a relationship situation, a child situation, the first thing you have to do is change your perspective. Last night, I think we did it. Was it last night? Let me see. Where was it last night? Yeah, it was last night. Last night we did this. For those of you that are not a part of the mentoring class, last night we did this. The perspective of God. This is where we came from Joshua, the first chapter. We did this, the perspective of God. And for those of you that are not a part of the mentoring group, if you want that entire teaching, go to our email address and simply say you want the entire teaching. It's by donation only. So donate $5 or $10, $20, and you'll get that entire teaching that we have for our team, for the mentoring group. And once you learn that, you will learn some things that will shake your foundation, that'll really shake your foundation. And one of the things you'll learn is how God sees you. So if God sees you a specific way, then that simply means that what God is doing is showing you who you are according to who he sees you. Now, follow me. When he shows you who you are, he's showing you where he's going to be to help you. So if he shows you that you're a musician, Jessica, then he's showing you to do something with what you're doing. If something happens, do something with it. If something takes place, do something with it. Don't just let it happen and not do anything with it. So if that is the situation, then what you have to do is simply say, okay, I'm going to obey the word with action and not obey the word with hallelujah. Praise you, Lord. This is what we've been taught. We don't put action behind anything. We simply put appreciation behind it and just say simply, that's the situation. So in that perspective, you see God placing things in your life, and those things he places in your life, those things are necessary because he sees what you're going to deal with in the ending when you're just dealing with the present. So now while you're dealing with that situation in your life, what you're actually doing is preparing for the next situation of your life. You don't know that because in your mind, you are having a challenge with right now. The battle right now is so intense and so strong that it does not give you the opportunity to see anything around it. Back up from the battle. Back up from the battle. I'm backing up. Get your mind back. Some of you have so many spiritual rituals in your mind, you think, I've got to go to church. There's a big battle right now. I watched it on TikTok. Oh, the Catholic Church has changed the Sabbath. And they said, yes, we changed the Sabbath. We changed the Sabbath. You talk about a big distraction. Check this out. Follow me here. So that means that every time you go to church on Sunday, you're really a part of the Catholic dogma and not the biblical dogma. Okay, that's it. But follow me here. So let's take into consideration, what is the Sabbath? What is the law of the Sabbath? They say, remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. Okay, so when you go back to the Sabbath, you go back to honoring and reverencing a day. Okay, you go back to reverencing a day. So in reverencing that day, you rest in that day. Here is why I really think we need to start to study, because we don't study. We hear something, we jump on the bandwagon of that thing, and then from that point on, we begin to deal with it. Okay, so he said, remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. So why are you remembering Sunday? Here is the challenge. You ready? Ready for this? Okay. So if every day for me is a resting day, rest in the Lord. If every day is take my yoke upon you, your yoke is easy, my burdens are light. If every day is a rest, what difference does it make that the Sabbath is holy or not to them? What difference does it make that the Sabbath is holy or not? If every day, what difference does it make the Sabbath? But we want these little bitty play things that put us in a position where this person seems like he's smarter than you or doesn't seem like he's smarter than you. Ladies and gentlemen, I need you to hear me very closely. The Sabbath day is every day that you have breath in your lungs. The Sabbath day is every day that you can walk on your own 2 feet. The Sabbath day is every day that you are in your right mind. Why? Because when you begin to isolate a Sabbath day, you create a ritual. And that ritual then gives you the reality of the ritual. So what you have to realize is what no one is talking about is spirituality. Why? Because spiritualists talk about spirituality. So when you understand the Sabbath, they say, do you keep the Sabbath? I keep every single solitary day that God is God. I keep every single solitary day that God has given me life and breath and health and strength. But when you try to isolate a day, you're basically saying, do whatever you want to do, but this day, make sure it's holy. What we are doing at HSO, what Higher Standards Organization, every day is the Sabbath for us. Every day is a day of holiness. Every day is a day that we give God grace and presence and praise and worship. Every day. If I reduce that to one day and I let that be an argument, then I miss the rest of the process. See, the cog of what's happening is that part of the commandments was remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. So when Christ came and said, I give you a new commandment, to hang all the laws. Love your neighbor as you love yourself, and love the Lord with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your strength. He didn't abolish the Sabbath. He's simply saying every day is Sabbath. The next time somebody says, are you a Sabbath keeper? Tell them, yes, I am. That means you go to church on Sunday. Church is not my Sabbath, honey. Church is going to school. When Jesus was there, he said, did you heal the sick on the Sabbath? He said, I am the Sabbath. Oh, y'all ain't ready for this. He said, I am the Sabbath. What is he saying? I am rest. I am rest. Christ, the anointing, is your rest. That's your rest. Your rest is not a day. Oh my God. Please, let's get beyond that. Your rest is not a day. Your rest is in Christ, not in Jesus, in Christ, in the anointing. So your rest is not a day. Your rest is in the anointing that destroys the yokes. Are you following me? So let's go back. So he told Joshua, he said, don't miss speaking these things out. Don't miss it because you feel like you're being done an injustice. Change your habits. Change who controls your life. Change who controls your life. And so I get people, because when you teach spirituality, when you teach the foundation of this book, you're going to get people that feel like they want to say their part. You're going to get people that feel like they want to be the person that's made the decision to make certain things happen. And I understand that. Trust me. I get it. I get it. I get it. But more than that, my friend, don't let them control you. Yeah. Anytime somebody can tie you up with the ability to hear something, to understand something, they control you. Anytime somebody can say something to make you angry and sad, bring you to places of anger, they control you. Anytime you're holding on to something that somebody's done to you 5 years ago and you're still holding on to it, they control you. I'll let nothing control me. I'll let nothing control me. A friend of mine called me and he said, Dallas, I got a job. And I said, okay, good. You got a job. He said, well, I said, no, you are thinking that a job is a step back from you believing God that you have your own business. What if God put you in that job to let you meet the person that's going to take your business to the next level? You wouldn't have met him any other way. And the process of his life has to cross paths with the process of your life. And so this is why you're working. So you end up working for a month or maybe 2. And then God says, leave the job. You go, no, I got to give him 2 weeks notice. No, God said, leave the job. But he's never going to make you shift out of something living with a spirit that is derogatory to your spirit. So God doesn't make you leave because you're angry. On the contrary, he'll be the calmest, coolest thing going on. That's when you'll leave. Why? You have to take control back. Now, why do you take control back? Because how God sees you is how he deals with you. I know that my grandson likes watermelon. So how I deal with him is according to his like for watermelon. He knows that you're powerful enough to beat everything that comes in your life. So how he deals with you is he sends things into your path that you can defeat to encourage you, to empower you. I'm not going to stay on here this long. So what's happening? Well, here's what's really going on. What's happening is everything is fighting for your time. Everything is fighting for your mind. Everything is fighting to stop your path. So take back your time back, take your mind back, and re-engage the process to your path. Redo it. A lot of us are hurting right now. A lot of us going through what perceived to be a struggle, but let go. Let it go. Let it go and allow God to take you to another level. See, the key to Joshua was he was called to do something that he, with all his mind, thought that Moses was going to do. So he, when given this task, as you go up, was still stuck on the fact, I thought Moses was going to do it. Some of you are still stuck on the fact that you're waiting for Christ to do it or God to do it. When God is going, I've given you all the tools, why aren't you doing it? Well, you're not doing it because in your mind, you're still weak. In your mind, you still have challenges. In your mind, you're still the 13-year-old kid that did not get what he wanted for Christmas. You are having a psychological breakdown because you don't want to lift up a hand to do what God has called you to do. You got me? So, right. And the things that you are writing, those things are the things that you reflect on. If you're one of the young ladies in the mentoring class last night, she gave me, well, I keep having these dreams, I keep having these things. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Did you write them down? She paused. The funniest thing, guys, is discipline to write stuff down is going to be so difficult. It's going to be crazy for you just to simply write something down. Time, something else needs to happen, importance, all these things are going to mess up your ability to simply write stuff down. Why? Because it's so powerful. Writing stuff down, if you get that the CD I did for last night, writing stuff down is powerful. And when you understand the power of it, you'll write more. But you don't understand the power because nobody taught you the power. To the point that they shifted cursive writing out of the schools. Writing is powerful. The two greatest assets that you have, or the two greatest allies that you have, is your ability to write and your ability to speak. You control those two mechanisms, you'll control everything about your life. Your cells respond to sound and voice. So that means over 1 trillion cells in your body are waiting for you to say the right thing. And even those trillion are also waiting for you to do the right thing. You're waiting to send a sound into your spirit. And that sound will change the direction of your life. What are you saying to yourself? What are you saying to yourself? If God is seeing you as victorious, what are you saying to yourself? What are you saying to yourself? If God is seeing you victorious, what are you saying to yourself? God's perspective. God's perspective. And like I said, for those of you that did not take the mentoring class, that are not a part of the mentoring class, you can get a copy of it. Simply go to our, oh my God, there's some places you can go. Where can you go? And simply send a donation and we'll send you a copy of it. All right, guys, that was it. I'm not going to stay on for the whole hour. I've stopped doing that. I'm going to just give you guys a little bit of a jolt or something that kind of holds you over till the next time. We will be back again on Friday. So we do Wednesday, Fridays, and Sundays right now. So we'll be back again on Friday. We'll also be here Wednesday night. I decided to do, well, I didn't decide. We prayed about it, and I asked the team about it, or asked the people about it, what about doing a Sunday evening? So we're doing a Sunday evening. Those of you that Sunday morning, yes, you can be there. It's not mandatory, but it's just simply something that'll take you to the next level. That's basically what we're doing. So that's it. Now, I am going to do this. I am going to go to Instagram and TikTok and Instagram, and answer questions. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, go to that. This is up for your edification. Go back and listen to it over and over again. One of the greatest things that Apostle Van Zandt brought to the organization was the ability to continually deal with a situation, deal with it over and over again, and watch those notes and get them out of there. All right? All right. I'm Uncle Dallas. I appreciate you. Whatever form of, oh, you're not only one form. Whatever form of thing that you're on, We appreciate you. Wow. There it is. Whatever form that you're on, we appreciate you. We thank God for you, and we appreciate everything that you do. And so, with that being said, I'm going to, because my mouse just died. My mouse, believe it or not, guys, my mouse just died. Yep, it sure did. My mouse just died. My mouse just died, which means I can't turn this video off because it is set according to the thing. So let's see what we can do right here. Let's try this. Yeah. Man, oh man, oh man. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Yeah. There went that. And there went that. All right, give me a second, guys. I need some batteries. I need some batteries. Oh. I need some batteries. Where the batteries at? These. Yep. And he's back. My batteries went dead on my mouse. That's crazy. That's crazy talk. So, got any questions, comments, or concerns? Y'all can kind of ask me now. This is a good time to ask me. Yep. Put another battery in there. Got to keep the batteries close. Keep your batteries close. And yeah. There we go. We're back. Okay, so I don't remember which one was the right one. So anyway, write the vision, make it plain. All right, that's it. Now, batteries are in. Everything's good. I love you guys. I'll see you tonight at 10 o'clock, and I'll have batteries in my thing from that time. And we do that. Now, Instagram, TikTok. You want to ask questions, come in, and we'll go from there. All right, guys. Love you. See you tonight.